Freedom has come, and this is with regard to some high-profile graft and criminal suspects who are now off the hook after the DPP wrote to withdraw those cases. Now, several of these high-end corruption and criminal suspects, it is freedom for them, perhaps, after the DPP applied to terminate their cases. Majority of the accused persons being set free were allied to President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza camp during the last election and are literally reaping from the coalition's campaign slogan of freedom is coming. But I'll begin with you, Martina.
Yes, please.
Talk to us about this. I mean, I know you mentioned a bit earlier on with regard to how you view this entire issue, but when it comes to the independence of, constitutional institutions like the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, well, it is within his own mandate to say, look, I feel like I do not have enough evidence to charge these people in court, so I will withdraw these cases.
Okay, so under Article 157 of our Constitution, that is where the DPP that's where he gets his powers from. Under that article is the same article that says when and if he decides to withdraw a charge, he must then get consent from the court. The DPP is acting as though he is in a vacuum. He acts by himself. There is no consideration of any other players in the criminal justice system. There is no consideration of the court. There is no consideration of the investigators. There is no consideration of the defense counsel. So what are you saying? That all these people who are charged, we were wasting valuable time in court? Is that then an abuse of court process? This same Director of Public Prosecution has never been seen in any court of law prosecuting even one single case. On the 11th day of April 2022, he came up with guidelines on the decisions to charge. And he then said that he is not going to prefer graft charges on politicians. So if I am an ordinary citizen of Kenya and I happen to be engaging in corrupt activities, and for example, my corrupt activities sum up to 1,000 shillings, does that then mean I will face the law, as opposed to some people who have been given billions and millions of Kenyan money to be the custodian of? I feel like this is a very unfair move. And what is this freedom has come? This is a slogan that was said throughout Africa from the time of independence. It's always a question on freedom. But is it freedom discriminatively? Why are we seeing that there's only freedom on people who are now eyeing for government positions? I am not saying that they need to continue being tried, but the DPP ought to give justifiable reasons as to why he intends to withdraw these cases. Another thing I am really questioning on the competency, because by the time the DPP decides to prefer charges, for a court to accept and admit those charges, he must have gone through what it is the investigators have brought to his attention. And the investigators in this instance, we're talking about the DCI, we're talking about the EACC, we're talking about the Assets and Recovery Agency, we're talking about all these agencies. This whole year, there has been fights with the office of the DPP. Based on issues of his unilateral decision on making policies and coming up with slogans on what he thinks is best. Now, the question we should be asking ourselves, is this to the best of the public interest? Is this to the best of the common mwananchi? Is it to the best of the Republic of Kenya? Because at this time and point, I really think that the new government administration should look into the powers of the DPP and try to make sure that they are consistent with the values and the values that are prescribed in our Constitution. Because now you can see at least 5 high-profile graft and criminal suspects are off the hook. Where were we before the elections? Where was this decision up until now the president announced his potential list of cabinet secretaries? Why did he not decide to withdraw this charge? What new thing has come up that he has decided that, oh, you know what, these people are no longer suspects of graft. If you see the President Ruto is saying he will not spare anyone when it comes to corruption, and then we have a Director of Public Prosecution who has decided to not prefer charges of graft on any politician. From May up to date, there has been no new matter in court of corruption.
All right.
So are they acting together? Is it a conflict of interest? What is happening? Is this for political gain for Nurdin Haji because I know he has a security of tenure. Then what is it?
Okay.
Does that then mean there needs to be reforms within the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution? This is something we need to think about.
Lydia,